Alrighty, before we start painting, I would like to talk briefly about the partner to our parasympathetic nervous system. That's the sympathetic nervous system. And although, it sounds really nice, the sympathetic nervous system, it sounds like, oh, I really care. Let's make you calm. It's not really that. It's like, wrong. It's more like alarm bells going off within your body. Imagine yourself in your bed, sound asleep, nice and cozy, having a beautiful dream. And then all of a sudden, you hear the fire alarm going off, blasting throughout the room. And you wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, alert, 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 I'm in danger. The sympathetic nervous system has a real hard wire to that fight, flight, or freeze reaction. It's all about that, and it's all about keeping us safe. So it is really important. It sounds a little bit like I'm giving it a bad rap, but it really is very, very important to keeping us alive as human beings. But the thing about the sympathetic nervous system is it really doesn't know the difference between the stress of bills being late and the stress of a bear attack. So bills and bears, there's a big difference there. They're both stressful, but one stress is not necessarily going to kill you in this moment. The other stress might. So one is a little bit more dangerous to your true safety in the moment. So the sympathetic nervous system would be super, super helpful to be triggered in that bear attack moment. It's not super helpful to our well-being when it's triggered in the late bills moment, because that's just triggering more stress. They call it the sympathetic nervous system because this nervous system has the ability to trigger a bunch of different things at one time, sympathetically together. So, for example, you realize your bills are late. Well, let's use a different example. Let's say you are on your way to school or on your way to a meeting for work, and you are presenting today. So we're already a little bit agitated there, feeling a little bit unsafe possibly. You're almost to your destination and you realize you forgot your presentation. You forgot everything. You're not going to make it in time. What are you going to do? That's a moment where we're not necessarily going to die, but we're going to be put in some sort of an uncomfortable situation, something that we had not planned or expected. And so when that kind of thing happens and our sympathetic nervous system is triggered, it affects our heart rate. Our heart starts beating faster. We start breathing faster. We start sweating. Our body temperature gets a little bit wacky. We feel a rush through our muscles, that rush of adrenaline. And all of these things can happen simultaneously within that sympathetic nervous system. It's there to be a giant alarm and a giant safety system for us. So it's a good thing. We just need to be able to tell when we need it to be triggered in that way and when we need to let it be quieted down and stifled a little bit. And we have the ability to do that. So it's really important that we bring up the sympathetic, because although we are talking throughout this course about the parasympathetic, and that's the calming part of it, it's really, really important to talk about the sympathetic, because they truly are like buddies. One would not be able to function without the other. They're both two parts of the same system, that autonomic nervous system. So they need each other. They're like that yin and yang, but they're so different. Like one is like the manager of a traffic control center that's just busy, busy, busy. Go, 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 go. Directing, keeping things going at all times. And then the other is like a meditating monk on a quiet hillside. So these are two very different individuals, but they need each other. They work so well together. So there's that yin and yang. So as we are speaking about the parasympathetic mostly throughout this course, we want to remember that sympathetic and be aware of it. You know, when you are out driving and something, happens, and you get that little like, ooh, that scared me for a second. Remember what's happening within your body. Remember that's your fight, flight, or freeze reaction happening within that sympathetic system. When your sympathetic nervous system is triggered, when those alarm bells start going off, what happens within the autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic goes into high alert, taking care of business. It's an automatic thing that happens. So it's like boom, boom, boom. Going to make sure you're safe. The parasympathetic allows for other parts of your body that are not needed in this very moment to sort of step back and take a temporary pause. So what happens within this nervous system is in that moment, that fight, flight, or freeze, that moment of pure stress, anxiety, danger, our body gets what it needs to stay safe. And the things that don't need to happen, like digesting the burrito that we had at lunch, that can be put on pause. So the body uses what it needs and puts on pause what it doesn't need in that moment. And that's what this overall system allows us to do. It's pretty cool. And then when we are out of harm's way and we know that we are safe, our system starts to wake back up. Our parasympathetic comes into play and starts bringing our body back, letting us know that, okay, we're safe. You can start digesting again. We need to rest your body. We need to bring you back up to speed, get you balanced, and then you can go forward. So as we're learning about how this nervous system works within our body, just remember that the sympathetic is really important to keeping you safe. But it's also a key player in stress and anxiety. So you've got to keep that sympathetic in line. All right, we are going to start painting, and we're going to conquer the blank canvas. This first layer of painting will be all about the sympathetic nervous system. So in this first layer of painting, we're going to take a little bit of a internal deep dive to look at ourselves and think about what is causing me stress? Where can I back off a little bit in certain areas? How can I balance my nervous system? How can I activate more calm within my days? And how can I potentially squash down, turn down the volume on some of those alarm bells that might be triggered by my sympathetic nervous system when I really don't need them to be? So I want to become aware of that. So grab your blank canvas or a blank piece of paper, whatever you're going to be working with, and we're going to start our multi-layer piece. Our first layer, we're going to be dropping down some sympathetic nervous system love. So grab your supplies and let's get started.